Nice one. Alright, there we go. Let's get started. Finally. It's time for the season start. Been a while, but after a few pre-season races, we can finally say that the season is gonna get going tonight. Starting off with round 1 in Texas at the Circuit of the Americas. That will be the opening round of the season. Some changes to the rules is the point system. It's going to be different compared to last year. Now the top 15 drivers will be scoring points given they finish the race. It's still 25 for the winner, and then 20, 16, 13, 11, and then 10 all the way down to 1 for 15th place. And we've got an entire new lineup, of course. Quickly go through it at Mercedes. We've got Jesus and Zimniak. Jesus, who did an incredible job at the end of last season, debuting in F2 in Tier 2 for a few races near the end, and it was good enough to put him in Tier 2 for this season. And he will be lining up alongside Zimniak, who is absent tonight. Moving on to Red Bull, we've got Allens, who was a Tier 1 driver last season, and alongside him will be Sean in the other Red Bull. Sauber will see Alpha Hype Wall and Tent Cannon both racing tonight. Wardy and Skokiller will line up in the Ferrari. Wardy not here tonight, unfortunately. But has been replaced by QPEV. Then in the Haas, we've got Arsenal fan and Sprite. We've got Hayden, who's a tier 3 driver tonight. And alongside him is Vortex Legion. Frenchie and Torres will be in the Aston Martin. Frenchie not racing, and replacing him for tonight is Bruce Wayne, who we saw winning the Italian pre-season race. So he certainly got the pace. Alex and Lil Dida 1 are in the McLaren. Alex not racing tonight and replaced by Agenti. Lil Dida 1 finally back after a long while. He's back in the McLaren. Pauls Ray and Charlie in the Visa Cash App RB. Charlie's not racing tonight, he's been replaced by Scorder. Fry and Suzuki Zion in the Alpine. Both of them racing tonight as well. And to round off, Josh Washman and Turbo Snail in the Williams. Josh Washman is racing. Turbo Snail is not. He's been replaced by Mitch. We see starting his lap now, going up the hill into turn 1. So that's the lineup pretty quickly for this season. Ooh, a bit of a slide already through the S's. Very tricky part of the lap. Uphill on the exit. Make sure to not invalidate on the inside or get on the throttle a bit too early and spin out on the exit. Nice power slide coming out of the hairpin onto the back straight with the help of DRS. Into the braking zone of another hairpin to round off sector 2. And we'll now go into sector 3, the most technical part of the lap. It's a full throttle triple right-hander. And into a very quick penultimate corner. It's very easy to run just a little bit too wide and get your lap time removed. The final corner, bit of a slide across the line. First lap time on the board is going to be a 32.7. And Pulse Ray across the line with a 33.4. Gets quickly replaced by Cubeb in the Ferrari. IGN into the top 3. Genti goes to the top with a 32.6. 1/10 of a second quicker than the Williams driver. Toto is going back into the pit lane. It's on a medium compound tire as well. So maybe just wanted to do a quick test run to make sure everything's working like it should. Hayden's already invalidated his first lap. Was a 50.3, so not representative at all. Porter now around the final corner and he validates on the inside of the final corner. Just going to get a bit too much off the track. The Vortex Legion goes to P5 with Bruce Wayne to the top. Not really a surprise, but he goes into the 31s. He's the first one to do so, and the next one to do so is Josh Boschman going to P1. 31.6, 3/10 clear in the Williams. Skullcatter up next, around the final corner. Can he get it to the 31s? Not quite. 32.1, but good enough to get him into P3 for the time being. When Sean has invalidated his lap, despite going purple in sector 1. Couldn't quite keep it within the track limits. Hayden is gonna try again. Like this time he is able to keep it within the white lines. It's only 137 though. Can probably go much quicker than that. Bright pink helmet for Josh Boschman in this dark blue Williams. Alpha Walden yet to set a lap time, but is attempting to set one right now. Navigating now into the final sector. This bright green Kick Sauber team. Course on this year's grid. On the team it's always been Sauber, but a different paint job. And a different title sponsor, but he invalidates around the final corner. Would have been a 31.9, which would have put him in P4, but 31.9 would have been P2, maybe for the front row. Got a little bit too much of the track. Vortex Legion was on a lap, but not anymore. See, he's backing out of it, and despite improving by 1.5 tenths through sector 1. Is Suzuki Zayn on lap? He might be. Currently has a 2:18 on the board, but probably was a second out lap. Navigating now into the final corner. Cross the line for 32.8, which puts him in P7 at the moment. So Torres has gone fastest in the first sector. At the moment in P19, but yet to set a lap time with 9.5 minutes remaining. Can he set a lap time quick enough for a provisional pole position on his banker lap? To the downhill hard braking zone. 1:19, not the quickest we have seen, so might not be quite the pole position lap just yet. But it's only a banker lap after all, so if he puts it into the top 5, top 6, that'd be a good effort. The Aston Martin driver. Now the penultimate corner, keeping it within the track limits. And the final corner, nice and easy, across the line for a 32.4, which puts him in P4. Well, that's a solid effort. S10 also one of the drivers yet to set a lap time, but he is going to do that right now across the line, and he goes into P4, replacing Tordoise with a 32.3. His teammate tonight, IGN, is in P10, but improves up into P4, right ahead of his teammate. Only half tenth behind COTA there. Right across the line for his first lap, and it is P14 only. 34. Sean is on his second attempt. Going down in P16. But 1:13 is a very solid middle sector. Might even be the fastest we've seen. Just needs to nail the end of the lap as well. But barely any ERS left in the battery. Down to the final corner. Can he put it on the front row? Across the line, he can with a 1:31.5, and it's good enough for provisional pole position. So Josh Boschman has got some work to do at the moment, not finding any time in the first sector. He is on the lap, but not on a good one. Quarter of a second down. Ginty is improved by 7/10 of a second and promotes himself into the top 3. Oh, and into the wall here goes Josh Boschman, pushing a bit too hard in sector 3. Have to come in as Bruce Wayne goes to the top. 31.3. 2 more tenths clear. That's an incredible lap. Already quicker than than my quali time in Tier X. Just a bit embarrassing. Lil D, the one of 2 drivers without a lap time. Alpha Ball just starting his lap. And what's it gonna be for the McLaren driver? Across the line into top 14 with a 33.218. Not many drivers out on track. Purple, second sector, 114. That's close to what we've seen for Sean and the Red Bull. So if you can just nail the final sector as well, might be on for top 3, top 5. Turn 16, 17, 18, and now into turn 19. Nice and close on the apex. As well in the final corner, across the line, 31.4 is good enough for the front row. For the Sauber driver. Talk about a banker lap then. Quite a bit of time to be found for Hayden. Up by a second after the middle sector line. Can he gain 1 position? Evaluating out of the final corner would have been 35.4, which would have stayed him in P19. Also Raiden. Not improving in the middle sector, he's down at P16. Way different than we saw in Monza last week. Was able to fight inside the top 10, but at the moment struggling quite a bit, unless he can find huge time in the final sector across the line. Finds just a bit of time to gain in 1 position to P15. Not an improvement for Pry in Sector 1. He's down in P18 with a 134. Not sure what's going on, but he's almost 3 seconds off the pace at the moment. Even being in the Alpine. 1 minute on the clock. And he's backed off. And he could do one more lap after he crosses the line. Not an improvement for neither of Bruce Wayne or Josh Boschman. So they're going to be attempting for their final laps. Oh, can they make it actually? This race, Josh Boschman is barely going to be able to make it. 10 seconds on the clock. 8, 7, 6, 5. He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it by the skin of his teeth. It's only a second. And he would have been able to start his final lap. But now he's down in P4. And unable to set a final lap. Sean is up by 1.5 tenths. He could challenge for pole position. Alpha Wallace finished as well. So it's between Sean and Bruce Wayne at the moment. Bruce Wayne is up as well in the first sector by 0.5 tenth of a second. First is going to be Sean to go across the line. Oh, and Sean is invalidated. Sean has invalidated. He is not going to be improving. And that could probably see Bruce Wayne on provisional pole or pole position as Tortoise, his teammate, goes into the top 6. Skoker across the line. Goes up to P8. Genti is one of the final ones to go for an improvement at the moment at P7. Moves up to P5. And Bryce invalidated as well, so it's all this man who can improve his lap time. He's already on pole position. Can he go even faster? Round the final corner, there's a 31.3 already on the board. Cross the line for 31.2. And it's Bruce Wayne on pole position for the United States Grand Prix. And he's almost 2 tenths clear of the next car in P2. Which is Alpha Hypal with only 1 lap though, which is pretty impressive. In the end, Sean has to settle for P3. Could have been more. Could have been a front row, maybe even pole position, had he not invalidated his final run. Josh Boschman in the end only 4th place. Was 1 second away from the line to start his final lap. 1 second short. P4 still a strong position to fight from. So certainly not all hopes lost for the race. Right behind him in P5 is a Genti and a McLaren. With QPF in P6. Tortoise in P7. I have a Skull Killer and the 2 Mercedes drivers in 9th and 10th. Vortex Legion and Mitch, P11 and P12. Suzuki Shine, 10th Cannon, last season's race winner here at COTA. Will start in P14. Scorer in P15 with his teammate for tonight, Pulse Ray in P16. Lil D the 1 in 17th place ahead of Primus Storm. P18 Hayden in P19 and last on the grid. Here in Austin, and would you look at that? It's pouring down, probably even full wet conditions, so the quali pace really doesn't matter. Quali was in dry, but the race is completely different. I'll go sit down for this one, because this is going to be exciting, this is going to be interesting. As it always is in these difficult and unpredictable conditions. Take a few minutes before we go ready. Start this race. Or do we? Because someone might have rid it up early. Unfortunate to see, but we're gonna go. The 5 red lights are on. But not for long. They are out, but it's gonna be a restart. So everyone should retire and, well, bit of a playground right now. Absolute carnage. Look at that! Like 10 cars stranded in turn 1. Alright, new lobby. And we're gonna get this sorted as quickly as possible. At least we know that it's full rain, full wet for the entirety of the race. So that's the weather forecast then. Quickly restart. We get this race on the way as soon as possible. But, sorry for the inconvenience. It happens. I forgot for 1 second I had to create a lobby, but my bad, my bad. Right. Let's get this over with. Nice to see that everyone is joining so quickly. Already 14 drivers. All right. Yeah, that should be done. All right, we're back. We're gonna get going once more. Hopefully, nobody wears up early this time, and everyone remembers to take their setups. Don't forget the setups. It's obviously still raining, and it will be for the entire race. So you might even change your setup now to a full wet setup. Guess that's one advantage of having a restart. Gonna wait 3 more minutes, hopefully. Then we're gonna get this race on the way. All right. Perfect. 1 more minute till the start of the season opener for Broke Boys Tier 2. Been a long wait. Not gonna wait anymore. Alright, here we go. Ten seconds. Five red lights are on. Finally. And they're out, and we've got this race on the way. That's a great start for Bruce Wayne, and he's able to maintain his lead going up the hill into turn 1. I thought, well, not the greatest start. Got Josh Bushman up the inside, almost going 3 wide there into turn 1. Josh Bushman already up at the P3. Has got past Sean, who is fighting now with QBF and P5. They've all made it through the first couple of corners, now into the S's. You can barely see anything with this much spray. And it's Alpha Hype Wall already under pressure from the Williams behind. Oh, bit of contact, and that's Sean. Sean has been spun around by the Ferrari. QBF is now reversing back into the grid. IGN has moved up to P4. IGN, didn't he start like what was it, P9, P10? P10 to P4, but in only half a lap time. That's been a great start then for the Mercedes driver. He's got ahead of Agenti, but he is coming back. And gonna have to try and have a look on the inside. But thinks the better of it under braking. Staying behind. Jesus moved up quite a few positions as well. Pulse Ray has moved up 9 positions from P16 to P7. What a start he's had then in the Visa Cash App RB. Primer Storm 7 places up as well. Hayden in the Haas up 6. And Sean is down 16. Oh, and Agenti in the McLaren has spun or half spun. Well, the good work. It's become undone. Down to P16. That is Mitch going off track twice now in the space of a few seconds. Down to P8, fastest lap of the race is for Bruce Wayne. He is gone. And he's gone with Alpha Hype Wall, and Josh Bushman is a bit behind in P3. Pulse Ray moving up to P5, 16 on the grid to P5 after just over 1 lap. But he is struggling as well in these conditions, getting all out of shape on the exit. Already a 3-second time penalty, that's not great news on lap 2 of the race. Gonna be a long 28 laps in that case. And Bruce Wayne is broken free after sector 1. Maybe a little bit of a mistake for Alpha Hype Wall, but the gap has now grown to 1.7 seconds, 1.3 now on the exit. As the kick Sauber puts down the throttle a bit better compared to the Aston Martin. Agenti in the McLaren struggling for grip, down to 17. Sean is trying to make his way back into this race. Still down in last place, P19, but looking to catch back up to the pack. Getting closer to the back. As IGN has got past Josh Bushman. Josh Bushman he is struggling as well in the Williams, and a Mercedes driver into the podium positions. What a start it's been, although massive slide into the penultimate corner on the exit as well. It's all kicking off. Everyone is struggling for grip, and there will be for the entire race. Last lap of the race goes to IGN. So despite his struggles, still the fastest man on track, and is already caught up to the back of Alpha High Wall. Two Haas cars in a battle with Sean right at the back of the field. While a 2-second gap has been created by Bruce Wayne to Alpha Ivo, and IGN has fallen back just a little bit in sector 1. It's really important in these conditions to keep your rear tires alive. And, don't slide too much. If you slide even more, you're gonna feel it later on in the race. Just have to be careful on throttle. Make sure you know you're not gonna lose those rear tires in a few laps time. Battling all throughout the field. Scorers up to P13. Fighting with the McLaren. Anything can happen to anyone at any time in this race, so a bit of a lottery at the moment. Ferrari also getting out of shape in the penultimate corner. Fast lap of the race. Bruce Wayne 51.5. 2 seconds now, a full 2 seconds ahead of Alpha Wall, and the Mercedes has caught up once again, but can he maintain the gap through sector 1? Last lap he lost a lot of time in this first sector. Hayden has retired in pit lane. After just 3 laps, he is out of this race, of first retirement. Has been struggling all night. Looks like IGN is going to put the pressure on the Sauber in front. A lot faster through sector 1, and with the help of some slipstream and ERS deployment, could he try and go for the move at the end of the back straight? He's going to dive up the inside much later on the brakes, and he gets the job done. And that's IGN up into second place. He now can try and chase after Bruce Wayne in front. 2.4 seconds is the gap he needs to close. Once again, these two fighting it out. Now Tentcan is getting involved as well. Trying to have a go at the McLaren. A little bit of contact between the two actually. Ooh, and Lil did that one. Very deep. Does get a better exit because of it. All about positioning your car, fighting different lines. Bruce Wayne still building the gap up to 2.7. Probably most comfortable out there at the moment. Definitely not sliding as much as IGN, for example, which is going to help him later on in the race. Might not be as quick, but he is taking better care of his tires, which will give him the advantage at the end of the stint. Let's try and have a go at Jesus on the back straight. Pulling all of the ERS. Can't quite close the gap. We see Tortoise getting past the Williams of Mitch under braking, and Tortoise is now up into P9. They have gone up the inside now in the final sector, up to P6 for the Ferrari, but look at now when they are sliding through turns 16, 17 and 18, and Jesus is still having a go, but the outside line is probably not gonna work, and it is not around the penultimate corner. Another fastest lap of the race for Bruce Wayne. This gap built up to 3 seconds now. Yeah, 3.2. Probably almost losing it. Exit of turn 2. Sliding about in sector 1. The same could be set for Mitch. Just a bit of time and then having a moment. Nothing unusual in these conditions. They're still all managing to stay on track. It is quite an achievement. Still a long way to go though. And here's our race leader, Bruce Wayne. 3.5 seconds out in front. I just basically drifting then to turn 17 and 18. Around stepping out in basically every single corner. Last lap of the race for QPEV. Having the pace in the Ferrari. Oh. A moment mid corner in turn 1. Now staring at the back of the V carb in front. Probably getting a warning for that track limit. Closing the gap 3/10 now. And if they can get a better exit, might be able to have a go. Ray also deploying his ERS. Ferrari is closing in. Out of ERS now. Under braking, going up the inside. It's a late move, but they get given the space by Ray, and Ray just managing to stay ahead. And that's defended successfully. Oh, and there is the 3-second time penalty. Some incredible scenes here with these cars sliding around. .49.8 for Josh Boschman. That's a really quick lap time. Once again up the inside, this time into turn 1. But the outside line is the quicker line for Ray. It around the outside. And holding on to that P5 position. Once again, the Ferrari cutting the track. Bry has entered the top 10. We've got yellow flags and not sure who that was. Have been COTA then, here in the Ferrari, down to P12. And his teammate has now cleared Pulse Ray. Yes, they have. Finally up into P5 as Josh Boschman is fighting it out with Alpha Wall and Alpha Wall, and there's contact between the two of them. Bit of a nudge there by the Sauber. And Josh Boschman forced down to P4. We'll have to try again next lap. The contact between the two. Then again, it's everyone is struggling for grip. Fast lap of the race now to Bruce Wayne, 49.8 as well. Lap 9 up 28. The gap between Bruce Wayne and IGN has now grown to 4.5 seconds. Just building that lap, building that gap every single lap. Brzezinski move up the inside, but backing out of it last moment with another big slide. Now the gap's grown to 1 second, so any chance of an overtaking opportunity this lap is gone. Design having a look up the inside of Jesus, but deciding to stay behind. Now there's a bit of a train forming now behind the Ferrari, or behind Pulse Ray. Oh, another big slide there mid corner. Oh, big scrap behind here with Sean, Lil D1 and Cannon. Look at how they're all sliding off. Sean has gone off track now, wheel to wheel with the McLaren through the penultimate corner. Up the inside of the final corner, can he get the job done? He can, and he is now up into P15. His way to fight back in this race, but he's not done yet. But the inside line should be able to play him ahead, and it does. So, maintaining the position. Can now try and chase after Tent Cannon in front. Back end squirming around. Rosberg has closed the gap once again. Or an opportunity to get past. Will form soon as Alpha Wall drifting just a bit wide. Very nicely through the penultimate corner. Try and set up a move into turn 1 maybe. Looks to be just a bit too far behind. Got the ERS advantage though by quite a bit. Second time penalty for Pulse Ray and for Tech Legion as well. Oh, that's another big moment on the exit. And now he has to close the gap once again. So Josh Boschman really struggling in these conditions. Sean has got a penalty as well. Yeah, 7th driver to get himself a track limit penalty. Lap 11 of this race. Five and a half seconds. Bruce Wayne is absolutely flying. Oh, and there we go again. Josh Boschman not the inside, but it will turn into the outside line once again. A nudge from the Sauber. And Josh Boschman finds himself down in P4 once more, as he's unable to get past Alpha High Wall, who is aggressively defending his position for the final spot on the podium. Could it be a bit too aggressive then? Tensions are rising between these two, and Josh Boschman getting desperate to get past. First pit stop of the day, and it is the other Williams of Mitch on lap 12. That's quite an early pit stop for an undercut on cars in front. From the wets to the wets, of course, it's gonna be heavy rain throughout the entirety of the race. We edge closer to the halfway point of this race when the pit stops will most likely be happening. So could we see a potential undercut by Josh Boschman, for example? Try and get past R5 well that way. Though there is the risk of coming out of the pits right in traffic, as Suzuki Zion and Jesus are fighting it out through turn 16. The inside line for Jesus, and it's the better line as he's able to clear the Alpine, or stay in front of the Alpine I should say. And his teammate IGN is pulling into the pit lane on lap 13, or the end of lap 12, beginning of lap 13. Try and gain some time on the Aston Martin. It's not really a surprise. Not really a surprise to see the Mercedes driver in so early. And is that Alpha High Wall who's had a moment? Looks like Josh Boschman has finally found a way past, but now he's 3.5 seconds clear. So Alpha High Wall has had a moment. Not sure if it's contact between the two or did he lose it on his own. But as I was saying, it's not really a surprise to see IGN in that early, as we've seen him starting with the rears throughout the entirety of the first stint. Bruce Wayne might have a bit better tire wear compared to the Mercedes. Bruce Wayne is pulling into the pit lane on lap 13 and the beginning of lap 14 to try and cover off the Mercedes. QPEP is going in as well, so it looks like this is the lap that they're all going in. Josh Bosch went in as well, Alfa Pole in, Pulse Ray in. Suzuki Zion is staying out as one of the only ones. Staying out as well is Prime Storm, so both Alpines are staying out. Will they both get ahead of Bruce Wayne? Might be crucial. Tent Cannon has set the fastest lap of the race on the old wet, which is impressive after lap 14. And she's also staying out. It's an Alpine 1-2 at the halfway point of this race. 3-second time penalty for Alfa Hype Wall. And that's gonna ruin his chances of a podium finish. Also the fact that he's a bit stuck behind some slower cars. In a bit of traffic. Pulse Ray almost running into the back of Alfa Hype Wall, but able to just about avoid the back end of the Kick Sauber. Suzuki Zion is going in, which means that Pry is staying out for a lap, and he's gonna inherit that race lead as we go on to lap 15 of this race. Bruce Wayne back up into the top 2. He's got only Pry ahead of him, who is yet to pit. Or he could go for a wild strategy and go for a zero stopper. I don't really see that happening with the grip loss. I must say, despite these conditions, it's been a pretty calm race so far here in Tier 2. No VSCs, no full safety cars, nor anything like that. Looking pretty good. Bruce Wayne is, well, not closing in on Pry, which is interesting to see. Well, now he is certainly, as Pry makes a bit of an error under braking, down to 0.6 of a second. But the gap between Bruce Wayne and IGN is only 2 seconds, and I think it was 6 seconds before they pitted. So the undercut's definitely the way to go. And this is gonna cost Bruce Wayne some time, but Pry is gonna finally dive into the pit lane at the end of lap 16. The gap's now down to 1.6 to IGN, who sets the fastest lap of the race, 49.3. But that quickly gets replaced by QPEF, who's moved up into the podium positions. They set a 49.3 as well. Josh Wasman in P5, and look at that, Sean in P4, still staying out. So could he potentially go for that zero stop strategy? And look at what the overcut for Suzuki Shine has brought him. He's into P6 ahead of Alva Wall. Well, I said earlier that the undercut is the way to go, but certainly not for Suzuki Shine. In the top 6, and with Sean left yet to pit, he's running in a virtual top 5 position. Josh Bushman is getting past the Red Bull of Sean and is into P4, but 4 seconds behind QPF. How does that happen then? They pitted on the same lap, but surely Josh Bushman had to replace her front wing or something. I swear he was ahead before they pitted. Well, they're fighting it out. They're the back end of the top 10 for P10. Exactly. Bry is trying to hold off Tordoise, but has a massive slide, and that's another massive slide. Oh, and he's not the only one going off. Tordoise is going off as well, and I think he's got a bit of damage. And they are both off in turn 17. And that is front wing damage for Tordoise. Oh, it all went wrong for both of them. Tordoise is going into the pit lane. Well, not really when you try straight into the pit wall. But fortunately for him, he is not retired, although he goes full throttle into the pit lane. Assuming he's gonna retire on track, or in pit lane I should say, but not looking like it. As COTA has fitted the intermediates. That is rather interesting. Let's keep an eye out on his lap times. Currently 20 seconds behind the car in front. And 10th Cannon has found herself into the top 10. Despite a disappointing qualifying. Making her way back to the front in the race. Yellow flags, and it's for Tordoise. Not sure what's going on, but he's got damage to the front wing again. A new fast lap of the race into the 48s. So are track conditions improving? COTA is not gaining time to anyone in front, so not time for inters just yet. If it is going to be time for inters, it should be heavy rain for the entire race. But Agenti is pitting as well for a new set of wets. Finally. Ooh, and that 3-second time penalty for Josh Bushman. So his chances of a podium finish are reduced to near zero with that as well. And not many drivers left without a penalty. Massive scrap behind, and Pry is having all sorts of troubles, losing a bunch of positions down to P12. Sean just got past him. He's now able to get past Skullkiller once again. And Lil Dida1 is having a look as well. But ooh, bit of a moving on the braking there by Pry, but able to stay in front of the Ferrari. Skoker in P13. Well, his teammate absolutely flying. Another fast lap of the race. But that 3-second time penalty is going to ruin it. Gap's only 3 seconds to IGN in P2. Fast lap of the race to 10th Cannon now. So she's flying as well. Getting pretty comfortable in these conditions. Looks like intermediates are not the way to go, and Scorer has found that out the hard way. Gap's now grown to 37 seconds. I think he spun as well last lap. They are definitely not quicker compared to the full wets. At the moment it's running for nothing. With the top 15 getting points, not looking likely that Scorer is going to come out of this race with any points. 18 drivers still in competition after 19 laps. That's impressive to see as well in these conditions. Although Tortoise is having all sorts of moments in this race. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him retiring in pit lane. Although he's still continuing on. Scorer has found himself driving backwards at the beginning of sector 2. Just does not have the grip on the intermediates. And Price at the moment, and he's going into the pit lane. Does he have damage? He does have front wing damage. It's all going downhill, but he's going on the intermediate, so it will be going even more downhill after that. Because like we've seen with Scorer, it's not the tire you want to be on. Tortoise on the intermediates as well. Just does not work. Skoker defending the inside line and just staying ahead, but wow, what an exit there by Lildy the One. That's incredible move. Just halfway into the corner, so much more confident on the throttle, and takes that position and up into P12. And there we have Scorer retiring from the session. Oh, what's happened to IGN? IGN has spun from second place in this race. And he's got damage as well to the front wing. It's all falling apart on lap 20 for the Mercedes driver. Was looking so strong earlier on in the race. Might have even been a challenge for the win at some point. But now he might be falling out of the podium positions. To see spun coming out of the penultimate corner, hit the wall. And damage his front wing, and the gap now to Just Washman just under 3 seconds. But Just Washman does have a 3-second time penalty. But the time gain is quite large. 2.3 now, 2.1. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to maintain his podium position. Primer Storm has gone off on the intermediates. We'll be keeping an eye out on the battle for the final space on the podium. Torres has gone back onto the full wets and immediately spun out of the pit lane. So well, it's running for nothing at the moment. Into the wall again. .5 seconds. Josh Boschman is closing the gap. Made a bit of a mistake, so now the gap's grown back to 1.8, but he will gain a lot of time in this first sector. IGN is doing a cracking job with a damaged car. I mean, just retire from the race at this point. What's the point? Gonna cost a safety car if they keep going like this. That's the last thing you want to see. To ruin other people's races. It's an Aston Martin sandwich. With Bruce Wayne 6.4 seconds out in front. He started on pole and no, virtual safety car. Not a full safety car, he's lucky with that. Bruce Wayne started on pole, maintained the lead on lap 1 and never gave it away. And it's only a virtual safety car. Six laps to go in this race. And will we see any drastic changes to point paying positions in the final stages of this race? It's a pretty long virtual safety car, but you're still trying it on the intermediates. 43 seconds behind though. Oh, and there is a drive-through penalty, and it's for Lil Dida1 in the McLaren. Was in P12, but that's going to drop him outside of the points, or down in P15 at least. So we will have 1 point. If it finishes like that. Five laps to go, and the gap's now 6 seconds. And somehow IGN is still holding on. Well, and as I say that, he goes off track. Still trying to hold on, but now the gap's really closing down. Might call it curse of the commentator, but the gap's now down to 1.1. But still, if Josh Boschman would get past IGN, he'll need to drive away by 3 seconds. Which is going to be a very difficult task with only a handful of laps remaining. It's worth a try. First needs to get past though. That's easier said than done. Oh, and it's gone from bad to worse for the McLaren. Got a drive-through penalty and then spun as well. Now it's down to P14. COTA was pitted, I think, for a new set of wets. Might set the fastest lap of the race with that, so could be an additional point. It's an interesting line there by Primer Storm, who's retiring from the race. So we've got only the top 15 left. So if you finish this race, you're going to score points. COTA will gain one more position because the only one yet to serve his drive-through penalty. Meanwhile, the gap has once again grown between IGN and Josh Bosman, who's just not able to get close enough to attempt an overtake. Nice yellow flag, a light show in the top left corner. Jesus will be gaining a position. Maybe two, might be able to get to the top 6. One of the few drivers without a track limit penalty. If it finishes like this, I think it will finish in P6. Just has to keep it within the white lines. But he's under massive pressure from behind though, from Tent Cannon. Who's also looking to find a way past. Oh, Josh Bosman is closed the gap now, finally. And is he gonna attempt an overtake? Up the inside he goes. Wheel to wheel contact between the two of them. IGN turns in. Didn't realize that Williams was there. There's contact, more contact, and they've collided. And Josh Bosman has spun around half, then and now he's gone wheel to wheel with Suzuki Shine. A bit of a nudge from the Alpine. And Suzuki Shine is up into P4. And can he be fighting for a podium? Can he fight away past IGN and then drive away 3 seconds in only 2 laps time? It's unlikely, but you never know. IGN getting a bit aggressive with the defense. Of course, you never know if someone can get the penalties removed. So better safe than sorry. If it's safe, it's a bit questionable. Now it's a massive train forming behind IGN. Down to P9. And in the meantime, Tent Cannon has found a way past Jesus. But she as well got a time penalty. Which will certainly put her behind the Mercedes. Suzuki Shine is close to the back of IGN. Just running a tiny bit wide. And that's another move there. Tent Cannon up into P7, but not quite able to get the traction right. Pulse Ray able to re-overtake. Having a look on the inside, but deciding to stay behind for now. And this is for position, because Pulse Ray does have a penalty. And he might have 2. He has more than 2. He's got 9 seconds worth of penalties, so technically she doesn't really have to overtake him in order to finish P8. Massive slide from IGN. Suzuki Shine is right at the back. Heading on to the penultimate lap of this race. 2 more laps till the end, and can Suzuki Zion find a way past? Or maybe force iGen into an error. Force them into a track limit. Well, experimenting with the track limits himself as well. That does get him right up to the back of the Mercedes. Going a bit defensive on the inside. Now Suzuki Zion has the better exit. Have to go the long way around the outside, but iGen putting up a stellar defense. The Alpha was under pressure as well from Paul's Ray. They become a three-way fight then for the final spot on the podium. If you ignore the penalties, it's an incredible battle. This is a massive time gain through this part of the lap. It's where you need the front wing the most. And through sector 1 as well. Final lap of the race. Bruce Wayne is already navigating through the SS. Truly a dominant display by someone who's not even got a full-time seat on the grid. I'm sure he will in the near future, and Suzuki Zion is now fighting now with Josh Boschman rather than iGen, and these two are fighting for position for P4. So this is a legit battle on track. Turned up in a social race before the start, and iGen's got a 3-second time penalty. Suzuki Zion and Josh Boschman are fighting it out, but that doesn't matter for Bruce Wayne. He won last week the pre-season race in Monza. He's now coming around the final corner without even a track limit penalty. Started on pole and is gonna come home to win the United States Grand Prix by quite a distance. Truly a dominant display by the reserve driver for Aston Martin. 9 seconds out in front. What a drive from Bruce Wayne. Cube finishes second in the Ferrari. iGen just about holds on to that final spot on the podium ahead of Suzuki Zion and Josh Boschman. Alpha Hype Wall in P6. But Jesus, without his penalty, gets promoted into the top 5 ahead of Josh Boschman. Alpha Hype Wall in P7 with his teammate Dent Cannon. She finishes in P8. Pulse Ray down in P9 ahead of Sean in 10th position. Argenti in P11 ahead of Vortex Legion. Mitch in P13. Leo Dida1 P14, but will finish behind the Ferrari of Skullkiller with his penalty being applied. But will score a point for his P15 finish. But it's Bruce Wayne victorious in Austin, Texas. What a drive. Didn't put a single step wrong in this race. Driver of the day goes to Suzuki Zion. Also a phenomenal drive to nearly get himself onto the podium with the overcut strategy. But there was nobody that could match this man, Bruce Wayne, on the top step of the podium. A difficult race with difficult conditions. But not any visible mistakes, and the maximum points tally. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well. From pole to win. P6 to P2 for UPF, P10 to P3 from ITN. Also a stellar performance. Suzuki Giant from 13th on the grid, finishing in P4. Nicely done. Jesus, without a penalty, which helped him to get into the top 5. One of 3 drivers without a penalty. Nicely done. But it's well done to Bruce Wayne. Takes the lead of the championship after this. First race of the season. And he's victorious. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Next week we will be back for the Qatar Grand Prix at Lusail International Circuit, round 2 of the season. I'll see you in 1 week time. For now, it's thanks for watching, and goodbye, and have a nice evening. Ciao, ciao.